Super Rugby Aotearoa, 15 of the tournament. I'll try not to get too bogged down with honorable mentions, but when you're limiting yourself to 15, you're obviously going to cut a lot of guys. I have been a little bit, I guess, tricky with some of the ways that I have picked some of these fellas. But, yeah, I'll go through the names. You guys can let me know who you would have had in, and yeah, we'll go from there. Start with loose head. I am gonna go with Joe Moody in the number 1 jersey. I don't know that there was an absolute standout loose head. A lot of guys were okay, so I think, and I'm trying not to go just on big reputation, I'm trying to go legit on form. Like, Moody was pretty good. I think he had at least a couple of games off, but the games that he played, he was solid. And compared to the Rugby World Cup, I feel like his scrummaging was a bit tighter. Maybe that's just not quite the same opposition as you get, maybe against the likes of the Springboks. But yeah, I definitely thought he was improved. The other prop, I'm going to go from the Blues off Tuanga Fasi. I thought he stepped up, and I've been mentioning for quite some time that I never used to rate him. I used to watch him at club rugby, and I thought he was decidedly average, even though he plays for the Blues. But since he's been in the All Blacks frame, he just keeps steadily getting better and better. And he's now at that point where, man, if you're running near him with the ball, you better beware, because he will absolutely flatten you. And his scrummaging is really good. Very versatile prop. I thought he definitely stood up and has put himself well in the mix for the All Blacks once we get international rugby back. Number 2, the hooker is always going to be... I was almost going to write hooker on the board. It's always going to be between two guys, I think, for the most part, in New Zealand. I've gone with Cody Taylor. Like I mentioned, I'm not going to try and get too much into honourable mentions. I thought he started a bit slow when the tournament kicked off. Maybe that was the added pressure of being captain. But I think overall, as the Crusaders line-out got better, his all-around-the-park play has just been phenomenal. He's absolutely dynamic, passes so well. He just does everything, man. And, yeah, I think that's one area we are not lacking for depth in New Zealand is guys to play at hooker. Locks, I have gone with, from the Blues, Patrick Tuipulotu, and I think he has had probably his best season for the Blues ever. He's always been a really big guy, but he's been a big guy with terrible hands. But he's able to, for the most part, catch the ball without dropping it in recent times. I know he usually plays 5, but I've put him in at 4 because I've kind of picked another 5 to go along with him. But yeah, I thought he's played above and beyond what we've expected from him, and I think he's firmly, without Brodie Retallick playing, put himself in that position for the All Blacks locking duo. Honestly, absolutely, he's big ball carrier, as I mentioned, and he's finally catching the ball. Seems to be leading around the park. He's certainly not afraid to get into some of the rough stuff. He's having a really good year. The next guy I've gone with Whitelock. Now, honestly, at the start of the Super Rugby Aotearoa season, he wouldn't have been anywhere near the team. I felt like he was really off the pace. But he's been slowly chugging along and reminding us why he is... I don't know how many caps he's got for the All Blacks, but why he's got that many caps. Now, there's a fair few... Without going into all day of honourable mentions, there's a fair few less experienced locks coming through. I'm thinking of the likes of the Highlanders and the Hurricanes have definitely got some. But for this team, I am still going with a more experienced hand in Whitelock. Lucy's. This guy at number 6 was one of the first names on the team sheet. I will honestly be very surprised if he is not the starting number 6 for the All Blacks. He's just been in phenomenal form. He's scored tries, I think it's four tries throughout the tournament. He's been causing defenses all kinds of problems. He jumps at the line out, and his defensive work rate has been up there as well. So he's been doing a little bit of everything, and he has been kind of like Tuipulotu. He has been in some of the best form that I have ever seen him in. Now I'm doing a little bit of a tricky thing here with the Lucies. I'm gonna put Lachlan Boshier here. I know he's been mostly playing 6, but he plays more like a 7. I think if you're thinking like that Jerome Kino traditional 6, he's kind of your closest fit. Whereas with the turnovers he gets and the tackles he usually makes, he's not like a tackling king. He doesn't necessarily get through 20 tackles a game, but he's very good at the turnovers, and he's maybe that next guy to arrive to the ruck after the tackler. So I thought in a losing team, he's actually played really well. Scored a few tries as well. He's got a nose for the whitewash, and overall I think has impressed as well for the Chiefs in what has been a pretty bad year. And the next pick I've also been a little bit tricky because he played 7. But I'm going to put Sam Cane at 8. And now, this is going to be an unpopular opinion, I know that. But I actually think that's kind of a balanced back 3. Frizzell's out now 6. Boshier's kind of a 6-7. And Cane is kind of a 7-8. He's not got the offensive stuff that you might want, but he kind of makes up for it. He's definitely got it in spades, and he is absolutely a tackling king, and these guys can switch around kind of whenever they want, basically. Kane's defensive efforts and his turnovers likewise cannot be underestimated. I know his team was losing, and maybe his leadership comes into question, so should he be captain is another question for another time. But for his defensive efforts, I'm not sure that there was anyone else better. Dylan Hunt came... Here I am getting into honorable mentions. Dylan Hunt came through kind of in the last few rounds, but I think overall, defensively, Sam Cane was there. As I mentioned, maybe he needed to be in the ref's ears a wee bit more, but in terms of his defensive efforts, I still think he's one of the best. So yeah, a bit sneaky with the positions. I will explain a little bit more. Ari Savia, I don't think, since he's come back from injury, I don't think he's hit the normal levels we would expect of him. At number 8, Hoskins Sotutu is definitely worth a mention, but he hardly played. He played a few rounds and then was out with injury. If Hoskins Sotutu played the whole season, I think I'd probably chuck him on, because he was out and out outstanding. Mikaeli Tu'u for the Highlanders was also really out of the blocks outstanding in the first few rounds, and then kind of eased off a little bit, whereas Frizzell kind of just kept powering through. So there's my 2 cents. Number 9, pen's running out of ink. I'm going to go Aaron Smith. Despite that Hollywood of his, I think he was pretty good, wasn't he? He averages about, someone mentioned in one of the streams the other day, he averages at least 1 kick out on the full every game, but his pass is still very crisp, and yeah, he drives that team forward. That last game against the Hurricanes, he's definitely there driving the team, so he's a guy who elevates the guys around him. Yep. That's one thing that maybe Sam Cane should be doing more of. Sam Cane can definitely do it all on his own, but can you make the guys around you play better? I think Aaron Smith does that. Number 10, I've gone only one choice. I've gone with Richie Mo'unga. Out and out the best 10 in the country. No question. No question in my mind. He leads the way in like defenders beaten, scores loads of tries. His goal kicking is a bit inconsistent. He seems to get most of the important ones, apart from that one he missed against the Canes to tie it up. But yeah, he's an absolute handful with ball in hand. His passing is slick. His kicking game around the field is good. He just does everything. Yep. As much as I'm a Blues man, I want to see Beauden Barrett there. Nah, can't do it, man. Not even close. Not even close, based on form. Midfield. He's injured, but I think he played probably more games than Sotutu did. Nani Lamape. He maybe didn't have, and he got a few critics in the opening rounds, Didn't have that same impact ball in hand like we're used to saying, but his overall game, I think, got better. Much better defensive work rate. Much better distribution. We saw him kicking loads some weeks and then not all. So the coaches were using him in a variety of different roles. And I think if he's fit, you play him at 12. Which leaves the question, who do you play 13? And I've been a little bit tricky with the lineups again because I've gone with Goodhue, and I'm pretty sure he played every single game at 12 for the Crusaders. But I've still gone Goodhue. I think that's a pretty good combo, and Goodhue was in really good form for the Crusaders. His choice of hairstyle is not everyone's cup of tea, but he's a strong runner, very strong defender, really good work rate. I know Enor was playing okay, but I don't think Enor hit anywhere near the same level that Goodhue was at. I know Enor had some injury troubles as well. But Goodhue there, I'm happy. I mean, ALB is probably your other guy, but again, he was kind of 12 and 13 throughout the tournament. Rico Ioane, I don't think is ready at that level of 13. He's very good offensively, but still lacks a wee bit on defense. You used to be able to say that about Lamapi as well, but I'm not sure you can say that now. Now, the next choice, I have still not decided left wing. I'm still umming and ahhing about it. I'll think about it as I go with the next guy. 15, I think you go Barrett. Which one am I talking about? I'm talking about Geordie. Now, Geordie has traditionally been prone to a few clangers, and he still did get hit by the ball in the face during one of the games when there was probably a try line open for him to score at. I don't know if it was his fault or the pass, which just went straight for his face. But overall, I think we saw Geordie's game improve a lot. I think he was really dangerous, really controlled. His goal kicking was for the most part pretty on point. He hit some long distance ones as well. His tactical kicking with that big old boot of his is invaluable. He's under the high ball. He's a massive man. And I honestly think he's lifted to the point where people won't be giving him grief if he gets selected by the All Blacks anymore. Honestly, I think he's that good now. He was probably picked for the All Blacks too early, but there you go. Which means I've had to do a little bit of trickiness here, and I've put that young Crusaders flyer, Will Jordan, on the right wing. I think he did play 1 or 2 games on the right wing. He was mostly at fullback, and I think he looked a little bit more dangerous from fullback. But either way, when that guy gets the ball, it was him and Mo'unga. And I think somebody mentioned that in the live streams as well. Whenever he or Mo'unga got the ball, you knew there's a really good chance something's going to happen. He beats defenders. He's kind of reminiscent of Ben Smith in that he's not that big a guy, but he's very elusive in his running. He's very quick, and he's got a good mind for the game that he knows where to be at the right time. One of the tries he scored, I forget which game it was, against the Hurricanes. It was a doddle. I think it was maybe Bridge that passed it to him. Yeah. Too easy. So, yeah, he's on my right wing. I'm still torn as to who to go for left wing. I will... Do I be bold or do I be conservative? I'll be bold. And I'll go Caleb Clark. The other guy I was thinking of was George Bridge. George Bridge is absolutely Mr. Consistent, and he's been phenomenal. But I'm going to go with Caleb Clark. He's an excitement machine. He busts tackles. He's huge. He bumps people off really, really well. And is also developing at quite a rate of knots. You got to wonder how far he can go. He's been really good for the Blues in what was a pretty good season. Large part of that is him getting front football for the Blues, being at the right place at the right time. Probably not as all-round complete game as Bridge, but there you go. Like I said, I'll take a risk. So yeah, there's the team of the season for Super Rugby Aotearoa. I've definitely screwed over the Canes. There could be more Hurricanes guys on here. Karifi is probably worth a shout. I am just going to get into honourable mentions, am I? Karifi was really, really good. Dane Coles is definitely in the mix. If you're picking a bench, he's my reserve hooker. Perenara, if he's on your bench, then he's definitely there for number 9, even if he still talks too much. Blackwell, like I mentioned, Hurricanes guys coming through. And the locks. Pari Parkinson from the Highlanders, another good lock. Yeah, Bodie is kind of there or thereabouts, but I don't think he quite hit his full straps this season. Yeah, I could probably keep going all day about players, but I'll try not to, because otherwise it's just kind of defeats the purpose of picking the players. These are the guys. These are the ones I've gone with. You guys let me know your thoughts. Who do you agree with? Who do you disagree with? I know I've been a bit kind of tricky. I've maybe been a little bit generous to the Chiefs. They didn't win a game, but I picked 2 players, whereas the Hurricanes finished 3rd and beat the Crusaders, and I've only picked 2 of their guys as well. So, yep, there could be more. There could be fewer. You guys let me know your thoughts. Mark Talia, he was good at the start of the season, wasn't he? But then kind of faded away a wee bit as well. Anyway, you guys let me know your thoughts. Talk to you again soon. See you later.